everyone, I hope you all are doing really well. I'm Saborni and I'm back with another video on Kubernetes. In the previous lectures or the videos, I have discussed about what Kubernetes services are and how you create it. So we have already learned about it that what are services? Basically, they are objects that helps you with abstraction on the applications that you're running on Kubernetes. Basically, the ways of exposing the pods. But however, in case you require any kind of customization, the ways you want to expose those, in that case we require a different object which is known as ingress. So let us try to see what ingress is. If we come over here, the actual definition as per the Kubernetes site, it's an API object that helps you manage any kind of external access to the services in a cluster. So the services in this case here, we are referring to a cluster IP type, which is the default one, which is basically exposed within the cluster, and other services can access or other services or application can access those kind of services quite easily. However, in case you want to expose them in a proper way, ingress is definitely need to be used. So while both the node port and load balancer service types that allows external traffic to flow into your cluster, however, their functionalities are quite limited. That is why whenever you create a new service, you definitely create a node port or load balancer in case you want to expose them. However, the load balancer type of service, what happens with that is you incur more cost. So based on the supported load balancer provider, for each service, in that case, a new load balancer is actually created, and that kinds of create a spike in your overall cost of maintaining the cluster. Also, there's no functionality indirectly directly supported, like in terms of networking logic, in terms of routing, if you are looking for. So ingress, on the other hand, helps you creating resources to consolidate the services that requiring basically you want to expose them quite easily to the external traffic, and it comes all under the umbrella of a routing logic. So for example, as you can see, if you have a service A and service B, you can basically use an ingress manage load balancer, and you create an ingress object. You specify certain routing rules, which could be basis on paths or headers, mostly paths. So on the basis of that, you can route your traffic to different services. Typical example of certain ingress controllers. So ingress controllers could be a load balancer or any kind of a front end that helps you to expose your services via ingress. So definitely you require an ingress object to sit within your cluster. So if you see on the right side of this, so this is a typical example of how you use an Nginx ingress controller to expose your applications. So for example, the one on the orange side, the amber one on the right, you can see a.example.com. It's basically where you create an ingress object, and that object is actually receiving the public traffic through the Nginx ingress controller. So not only the Nginx ingress controller, but there are different types of different ways of exposing the applications through different controllers that are available. And there are a handful of examples that are also available in the documentation. So in this demo, what I'm specifically going to show you is I'm definitely going to use a pre-baked environment where Nginx ingress controller is already available. So if you're wondering how an ingress controller is installed, definitely go through the choice of your controller that you want to install. It could be an Nginx, or it could be Amazon's AWS load balancer controller as you require. So in this example, what I'm going to do is create an object called ingress object called world, and there would be a domain that is already associated internally available, which is world.universe.mine. And there's a specific port where this ingress controller is routing traffic to that specific ingress, and on the basis of path, it would be routing traffic to either of the services, which is called as Europe or Asia. So without wasting time, I will go ahead with the demonstration. So you can see already it's a Killer Coda environment, and on the left side, we already have uh, a session already running here, and it's a pre-baked environment where Nginx is already available. So as I have told you the example, we are going to create two services, and those two services would be exposing the different types of applications that are available. So two deployments are already available. So if I show you directly going to the solution, so definitely you would be either you can utilize manifest or utilize this command line CLI command in order to create those deployments, those services to expose those deployments. So this is by default the cluster IP type. So this is where you expose this service called Europe, and we also have another service called Asia, and here you exposed. Okay, so quickly see get svc -n, and the namespace is world. So we will quickly see. So we have two services created, and both are of type cluster IP. Okay, and now we basically want to expose these services with the help of an ingress. Let's try to see what this specific environment contains. So if you want to know more about what are the things that are already installed, so if you want to see, so kubectl get all -a, so across all namespace, if you want to see, so you have to be careful here. So this is where the ingress Nginx is already installed, which is the ingress controller. If you want to know more about this, like, you can definitely perform a kubectl get deployment followed by this specific name, and you definitely need to pass the namespace if you want to know more about it. So here the deployment is available, and if I scroll up, noticeably in the same namespace of ingress Nginx. So let me try to fetch this -n Nginx. No, the namespace was ingress -nginx. So under this, you will find a lot of different components, different workloads that were created. So you will find two types of pods that helps you with the provisioning of the ingress controller, and one ingress controller is already running this application, and this is exposed through two types of ingress controller, that is two types of services that is basically running, one definitely through cluster IP and another is a node port. So we are kind of internally here exposing the ingress controller through a node port in order to communicate. So it's kind of a pre-baked environment. That's why you might not get the exact flavor of it, but ultimately it's using an Nginx ingress controller, which is going to route your traffic to the ingress which I created right now, which I'm going to create right now. So if I go and check this, so it's doing an internal check. So as I mentioned, if I show you this, we are currently at this point, we have the services created, and the deployment is was already pre-baked, available in the environment. Now we are going to create the ingress. So the ingress, if I directly click on the solution over here, you will find a YML. So the API version that you would be requiring here in this case is networking.k8s.io/v1. The kind, as you can see, is ingress. Metadata, the name of the ingress, which is world, and the namespace that where I'm creating this ingress is also world. The most important thing that you would be noticing over here is ingress class name. So here I'm specifying what is the type of the controller that I am currently kind of using it here in this case, which is Nginx. So this is something that you would need to pass in your ingress definition. And here you can see this is the host. So if you are using your own application, your own cluster, so depending upon the type of host name that you are using, you would have to manage your own domain name registration, as well as the maintenance of the records, that how you are basically doing the routing. So the networking part you would need to handle it. But here what I understand in this environment is it's kind of underneath using a note port in order to exposing this. So not a note port, but if you come over here, it basically says that the domain points to the Kubernetes node IP via HCT hosts basically. So it's kind of internally routing it back to the node. So if I show you the rules, talking about the rules, which is basically on the basis of paths. So it's going to check if the path is Europe, then route the traffic to the service Europe over port number 80. So if you could recall, in the previous step we basically exposed it over port 80. If I show you the commands that we used, okay, so if I come down over here again, and so it's quite similar to this for path Asia as well, that's the same thing. So without wasting time, let's move ahead. And in this environment, what I will be doing is, and ingress.yml, and over here I would be pasting it, and command C, sorry, if I just want to see the content of this ingress, I will find that, okay, so this is already available. So now it's time to apply this. So once I have applied, now I will try to get hold of the ingress which I created in the world namespace. So you see over here that the name is world, the class is an nginx, so and the host is associated with this is this. So if you want to see more about this ingress, so you just need to use the describe ing, and ing was the name is world. If I do so, you will see here so that there are two path-based routes that are available and routing to different. So in case I want to access this file, like this services, I'll just use a cur command over here, and it says that hello, you reached Europe. So I'm getting a response from my Europe application. That is, the Europe service is assisting with this routing. And if I want to get hold of the try to access the Asia application, and you will see hello, you reached Asia. Okay, so quite similar to this, you can actually utilize a single ingress objects or multiple ingress objects to route to cluster different multiple services with your that is running in your cluster as workloads. So definitely, if you want to know more about it, go through the Kubernetes documentation, as well as the different ingress controllers, different types that are available upon your choice. You can definitely refer to the documentations for that. I hope you will find this video as helpful for you, and definitely try out your hands within your cluster and test it out and see how Ingress works, and keep on learning. Thank you for watching the video. Wish you a great day ahead, and cheers. Bye.